Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's finally Friday, and I'm your host, Jake Johnson. And tonight on Untethered Live, we're going to do a little something new, a little something old, a little something borrowed, a little something bold, a little something tried, a little something true, a little something untested, a little something blue. From me to you. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Soph Allen is first in chat. She says, I got a joke for you guys. Well, that remains to be seen. What kind of bears like bad weather? Polar bears. Polar bears like bad weather because they're polar bears. Or barometric bears. They're British bears because they're barometric. Barometric. Not imperial bears, British bears. Bears. I don't know. What? Amy says, I catered an event for work tonight, and they gave me leftovers. That's always good. I work for food, too. And they gave me cheesecake, cheese cubes, a meat rose, and pastries. I don't know what those things are. They gave me a bunch of coffee supplies, too. I'm set for a while. Excellent. Now you're speaking my language. I got coffee, a nice hot cup, actually. Don't you want to have a cup with me and talk about whatever pops up? If you do, grab yourself a cup and let's get started. If you don't have a cup, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It has this face on it. It is fantastic. But we also have stainless steel tumblers, big ones and little ones down there with locking lids and Untethered Live Bible Study logo on the front. All the platforms on the back. Hold your coffee hot for hours. Got a locking lid. I think I expressed that. Looks good on your coffee table, and they're worth the buy. Also, like, subscribe, share, support, join in. Super chats are available in the chat box if you want to show a little love. If you want to throw a little clang-a-lang my way, if you want to, you can do that right there, or hit that CashApp $ Jake Johnson Band for a good old weekend. I appreciate that very much. One last thing. If you would like to have a place to hang out with everybody outside of the YouTuberverse, outside of me hacking and coughing and, puking all over everything you write. If you want to have your own little place, you can do that over at facebook.com/UntetheredLiveChillin'. The link is in the chat. It's a great place to share pictures, text, videos, and chats. Memes and all sorts of things right over there. And the ladies are quite funny. So go check it out while you can. All right, Soph, you're first in chat. Amy says, Soph, you're first in chat, so you get a gold star. And Amanda says, here's your gold star, Soph. And Amy says, what's the answer, Soph? The joke. Remember the joke? What's the answer? And Jake says, polar bears or British bears? Because, they use the metric system. Barometric. Barometric. Ha-ha. Here's your gold star, Soph. And Amanda says, hi, Soph and Amy. Amanda says, hello, Untethered Live family. Good to see y'all. Happy Friday. I hope everyone had a good week. How are you tonight, Jake? Fantastic. I'm like Miss Piggy on a prom date. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. I'm squeaky, and I got a frog in my throat. Actually, I feel like I got a whole pack of frogs in my throat, but it's something. Blech. Amanda says, here's the Facebook page if anybody wants to check it out. That's Untethered Live Chillin' on Facebook. And Amy says, Soph, don't leave us hanging. Jake guessed it. Jake had to guess it because the answer ain't coming. Amy says, hi, Amanda, and hi, Jake. Hi, Amy. I hope you're enjoying your coffee supplies and your cheesecake, which sounds delicious. Amanda says, where'd it go? Hold on, my chat jumped. Amanda says, is it a drizzly bear? No, that's me in the mornings. Linda Davis is here. She says, happy Friday, ladies. And hi, Jake. Hi. I don't get a happy Friday. I hope you're having a happy Friday. Amy says, hi, Linda. And Amanda says, hi, Linda Hunt. And Amy says, I remember Care Bears. Amy says, I remember Care Bears growing up. One of them had a cloud on it. Is that the answer? I don't know. And Amy says, yummy, free cheesecake. It's free. It makes it even better, doesn't it? It's even better. Tastes even better. John H. is here. What's up, Nugget? Nice to see you, buddy. John says, hi, everyone. How's everyone? How everyone is 5. Love you all. I hope everyone is fine. I love you all. I think that's what that says. Well, we love you too, John, and hope you're fine. Amanda says, hi, Nugget. Linda says, hi, John. Amy says, liked and shared. Thank you. And invited some friends. Thank you, thank you. And Nugget, how are you, Buckshot? Nugget Buckshot, huh? I really wish my throat would quit producing phlegm because it's like a constant thing. Like a never-ending cycle. Horrible. So Fallon says, drizzly bears. Ah, drizzly bears. That's not a real thing, but I get you. Hi, Soph. I like mine better. Barometric bears. British bears. Amanda says, I got it. Woo, you did get it. How did you get it? I had to guess, and I guessed incorrectly. Patty's here. She says, hello all. Hello, Patty. Amy says, you're getting married? No. Nope. But I am old. Would you like to hear something new? Ladies and gentlemen, for her debut appearance on Untethered Live, please give a warm welcome to the bandhammer herself. Amanda, come on in and say hello.
Hi, Untethered Live.
Don't expect them to say anything back. They don't do that.
Imagine that.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Glad you could join us. I brought you in because I am having an ever increasingly harder and harder time talking. And I thought that later on in the chat, you could read some of the chat and give me a chance to breathe and then respond to the chat as you read it. After we get through all the highs and hellos and what's ups and thumbs ups and all of those things.
Fun.
Yes?
Of course.
And plus, I don't think anybody thought you were real, so now they know. You're no longer my imaginary friend that can make great coffee. So anyway, that's the new, something we've never done before. I'm the old. That's the new. Of course, if anybody else calls you dragon, I'll rip their lungs out. Beauty and the Beast. Get it? Okay. That microphone clicks when you turn it on and off, so be cautious.
Well, you'll have to fix that.
I'm working on it. It's a spur of the moment thing. Amanda says, hi, Patty. You could just say that now.
You're right. Hi, Patty.
Thank you. And John says, what do you call a bear without teeth? I don't know what. A toothless bear? Amy says, hi, Patty. And a gummy bear, John. I should have knew that was coming. A gummy bear. Ha. Soph says, what, John? A gummy bear. Amanda says, LOL. Easy for you to say, Jake. Bears, bears, bears. Oh, my. Oh, my. Amy says, a meat rose is lunch meat in the shape of a rose. I kind of figured it was something like that, but when you said that, I pictured somewhere in the back of my mind, I have somebody carving a radish and turning it into a rose, like shaping it. And that's what I pictured. I don't know why a radish, but that's what was in my head. So I figured it was something like that. Amy says, Aaron will be here later. He's doing plumbing repairs for his kid. I hear you. He can come by and help me on mine. Plumbing. I hate plumbing. Amanda says, you say it.
8-Ball, is it finally Friday?
And 8-Ball says,
My sources say yes.
Amy says, 8-Ball, am I loved? Amy, 8-Ball says the answer to that's not pretty, but I will answer you and say yes. Yes, you are loved.
Definitely loved.
Patty says, hello, ladies. Oh, Amy Elizabeth, what a blessing. Food. Always good. I had pork chops tonight with green beans and pasta. It was good. I love pork chops. Amy says, Amy, you are loved. Very, very much so. Don't make me get you a microphone. Fab Daddy says, love is never pretty. It's a 4-letter word. Speak for yourself, buddy. I love love. I think it's fantastic. How are you, Fab? And Amanda says,
Oh, I lost my spot. My chat jumped.
8:36.
Oh, hi, Fab. Oh, of course you're loved, Amy.
There you go. Amy says, hi, Fab. Fab Daddy says, hi, chat. And hey, Jake. What's up, my brother? Nice to see you. I'm going to see if I can't work on that video a little bit this weekend. I've got it. I just hadn't had a chance to mess with it yet, but I have an idea of something. So I hope you'll enjoy it when I'm done with it. Kind of like a reactception kind of thing. I've done this before, but with other types of video. I've never done it musically, so you'll be the first. And I think you'll like it. What in the heck is going on? Chat's jumping all over the place.
8:37.
I got it. All right. Linda says, yes, Amy, you are very loved. I concur. I love you like a fat kid loves cake. And Amanda says,
LO, Jake. Drizzly Bear. Facts.
facts. It's weird to see your name and to know that you're there to talk. So from now on, when we get to yours, just read yours.
Okay.
Amy says, happy fabulous Friday to Jake. Thank you, dear. My mustache is tingling with joy. I can't wait to go to bed and get some rest so I can get up in the morning and work on plumbing. But I'm going to rest. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow because I've had a long week. Amy says, it's been a busy night and I'm almost done. How did the catering thing go? Was it a good success? You feel like you got everything you wanted done? Amy says, hit that like button and the arrow icon. Get the show out there. Yes, please do share the video. Be a pro. Share the show with everyone you know. Yo. We need it. And also like.
Hopefully your night went fast, Amy.
Soph says, hello, John. And Amy says, I'm actually in the best mood I've been in a long time. Well, that's great news. I'm glad to hear that. I love it when people are in a good mood. It makes me in a good mood because I'm never in a good mood. I'm like a mean old crotchety old, crumpet. There's a word for it, but I can't think of it. Old man staring at clouds. I built this cruise missile to stop these kids from playing ZZ Top, that kind of guy. But it's nice when other people are in a good mood. It makes me feel good. Also, you have been killing it with the Bible studies. I'm so proud of you for that. You are really getting in there. And I hope that it's giving you every bit something to look forward to every time you open a new one. I really do. John says, hi, Soph. And Amy Elizabeth says, hi, Amanda. And John says, hi, Amanda.
Hi again, Amy and John.
Amy says, beautiful voice, made for podcasting. I concur. I just got to get her out of her shell a little. This is her first time being public. So let's all make fun of her and say all kinds of nasty things in the chat. Patty says, hello, Miss Amanda.
Hi, Miss Patty.
And Amanda says, hi, all. Fab Daddy says, oh, a duet. Something like that. More like a duet. We're getting there, though. Patty says, this is great help and nice for the show, Jake. Peace. Thumbs up. I thought you'd like it. It was your request that caused it to happen. Fab Daddy says, I want to hear you. Don't bring me flowers anymore. I want to hear you. Don't bring me flowers anymore. Is that a song? I want to hear you. Don't bring me flowers anymore. I don't know that song. I might. Who does it? Amy says, yep. We all thought Amanda was made from latex and had an inflation port. She's real. No, she does have an inflation port. That's a fact. Sometimes she blows. Amanda says, blow, 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 LOL. Soph says, disco night next week, John. Are you taking John out on a disco? Fab Daddy says, the autopilot in the movie Airplane was inflatable and enjoyed his valve being blown. So does mine. Most definitely. And nice reference. I love the movie Airplane. I'm just getting ready to go see the new movie. You know the one. Leslie Nielsen. Naked Gun. Naked Gun, which is a Zaz movie. That's the three guys, Zucker, and Abrams. I can't remember the first names, and Proft. Proft was one of the guys, but anyway, they make really, really good. They started with Kentucky Fried Movie. They made Airplane. They made several other spoof movies, including Hot Shots Part 2, and a TV show called Mod Squad, or the Police Files of Mod Squad, something like that. And then based on that TV show, which was a failed TV show, it only lasted 6 episodes, they made the movie Naked Gun, which was a big hit a couple of years later. So just because it's unsuccessful on the small screen don't mean it ain't made right for the big screen. John says, Soph, I got my DJ equipment. Right on. Me too. Amy says, I love that movie, Fab. Yeah, it's a good movie. Amanda says,
No rest for you, Jake.
no rest for the wicked. Debbie, hello. She says, uh-oh. I am thinking Amanda has the Energizer batteries. Jake is getting so sleepy Jake is getting some sleep this weekend. Those Energizer batteries have run out. They need some Duracells. Melody says, good evening, sir. Melody, nice to see you. Did you consider to see a doctor about your throat? Seriously, I've considered it. Seriously. I haven't done it yet. Just making my way through life. Amanda says, hi, Debbie, LOL. And Amy says, get off my lawn, Jake. Yep. Yep, that's me. I've turned into a curmudgeon. Amanda says,
Hi, Melody.
and Amy says, I've been enjoying the Bible study. I'm glad to hear it. Caucasian Sasquatch says, hi. Hello, Caucasian Sasquatch. Nice to see you. Amy says, hi, Debbie. And John says, I walked 40 miles this week with my little picker. I was dancing along to some music. Everyone was beeping me. Nice. Your little picker?
Litter picker.
Litter picker. Litter picker. The little thing you... Yeah, I got you. I hear you. Caucasian says, I was demanded to not lurk so much. By whom? Whom demanded you? Amy says, hi, Caucasian Sasquatch. Amanda says,
I got your duh.
duh. A duh it. That was clever. Come on now. Caucasian says, Amy. Debbie says, come on, Amanda. Let your freak flag fly and go sit on Jake's lap. That will get us banned.
Definitely.
Fab Daddy says, I'm guessing we don't see Amanda because her mustache is bigger than Jake's. Nice. Possibly. Some people have a face for radio. You know how it is. Amy says, hi, Melody. And Amanda says, LOL, Fab. And Linda says, hi, Fab, Caucasian and Debbie. Caucasian says, Linda. Fab says, hi, Linda. Melody says, hi, Amy Elizabeth. And hi, Amanda. You can say hi back.
Oh, hi.
We're working on the banter, the quick-witted banter that we got going on. It's really second class. You just have to wait a while, but it happens. Second to none. Amy says Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. His brother, Taco, said he's working on something big, too. Yep. I like it. Amy demands. Amy? Well, Caucasian, what's the point in lurking? You know people here. You might as well speak to them. Fab Daddy says, break her in, Jake. Slow and steady, slow and steady. I am. I'm working on it. This is a foray into something new, so, you know. It'll take time, but she'll develop that award-winning personality I know she has. I need somebody to take over when I croak. The show ain't going anywhere, I promise you that. Caucasian says, no reason, I'm usually doing a few things. I hear you. Me too. Busy. I'm a busy boy. But that's all right. That's how things get done. I made some money this week, too. That was nice. I've been in the hole for quite a while. It was nice to actually get my head above water for once.
Just skip John's comment.
John, did I skip one?
Yes, above Caucasian.
Oh, that's because I'm on Top Chat. I didn't see it. Don't know how that happened. Sorry, John, or anybody whose chat I missed, I apologize. John says, Jake, guess what? Britain, Spotify, and other music sites, facial recognition. Britain is a dictatorship now. I've heard something about them instituting age verification checks, but I just saw a headline. I hadn't had a chance to look into it yet. I saw it while I was at work. But is it just Britain or is it everywhere? Because it seemed like it was everywhere. April Rain says, hi, everybody. Hey, April. Nice to see you. And Fab Daddy says, John, I was watching some of the protests in England this morning here in America. How's that going? Amanda says,
hi, April.
Amy says, hi, April. Fab Daddy says, April, good to see you, dear. April says, hi, Amanda, Fab Daddy, Caucasian, Amy. Much love, heart. Caucasian says, Georgia started age verification in May, I think. Interesting. I haven't had that problem yet, and I use Spotify. They haven't bothered me with it yet, but I really don't spend a lot of time on Spotify. I just upload the show there. I don't even go and check the page out. I haven't even seen the page, actually. Don't know what kind of numbers it does or anything. I just upload. Melody says, I have heard that it is difficult for many Americans to go see a doctor because they don't have a medical insurance and can't afford to do so. Is it true? And if it is, I hope it's not your case. Well, it is true that I don't have medical insurance. However, if I needed to go see a doctor, I could today. There's no problem. I just have to pay when I go. A lot of what you hear is propaganda. I wouldn't listen to that too much. Yes, we have a Medicaid and Medicare and different programs for people. It's largely taken advantage of by a certain population of the people. And the people that actually need it can't get it because the other people are getting it. But that's neither here nor there. Where there's a will, there's a way. In my case, I'm just stubborn, and I already know what the problem is. So there's really no point in me going and have somebody confirm what I already know. But if it gets worse, I will go see a doctor. If it changes. Right now, it's the way it's been. So no news is good news, I guess. And Linda says, hi, April Hart. And Caucasian says, April. And John says, just Britain, crazy train. I hear you, buddy. Ladina Simmons is here. She says, hi, everybody. Hi, Ladina. Nice to see you. John says, hi, April. Good to see you, Hart. And April says, hi, Linda and John. Good to see you.
Hi, Ladina.
And Amy says, hi, Ladina, Hart. Caucasian says, I was already verified, so it only shut down my other profiles. Right on. Again, I haven't had any trouble with it. I guess I'm verified, so they hadn't asked me. I don't know. I hadn't really investigated either, so there's that. Whatever. They can make it harder to be seen. That's fine with me. Like I said, if I have to, I'll make DVDs like in the old days and send them out through the mail. They can't stop a good thing. And our little church is growing by leaps and bounds. We're getting lots and lots and lots of repeats and big numbers. So I'm tickled to death with what's happening. Amy says, I didn't know that Ozzy's funeral was going to be a 3 or 4 day event. I didn't either. April says, that's cool. I hear Amanda's voice. Amanda?
Yes, you do, April.
Caucasian says, I do not use this for adult stuff, but my channel is adult. So is mine. It's marked no kids. Oddly enough, I get a lot of kids. Don't know why. They should look into that. That's their problem. That's not a me problem. Amy says, I saw a stray cat outside looking in the window, and I told it to go to Jake's house, and it took off running. Where's it going? Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. No? Well, it can come here. I got room. I got an extra bed. Fab Daddy says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retract it, Fab Daddy. And April says, nice. Patty says, Miss Amanda, your voice is so pleasant, and I am glad you're part of the show, dear.
Thank you, Miss Patty.
Well, she's been a part of the show for going on 2 years now. She just hadn't spoke yet. Fab Daddy says, 8-Ball, do you think that the chat has toilet paper rolls it will send me? 8-Ball says, it is so. You want toilet paper rolls, Fab Daddy? I got a plenty of them. I'll send you if you want them. Is that you in that video? And if it is, what in the world is wrong with you? Amy says, if you need some, Fab, I can send you some. I'm a janitor. Nice. April says, LOL. So, Amanda, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Still putting up with your craziness.
Fab Daddy says, that's gonna be my Halloween outfit this year. Nice. I like it. Don't forget the pigtails. That's important. John says, I got some, Fab. I got some recycled ones. Brooks. April says, ha ha. Daddy's all teeth. Smiley teeth. And Debbie says, 8-Ball, is Fab full of poo? 8-Ball says, perhaps. Amy says, LOL, John. I need to go in there and program some new responses for 8-Ball and change a few old websites. That's something I can put on the calendar for this weekend, something I can get done. Amy says, oh, I get it now.
A little slow tonight, Amy?
Were you having trouble getting it before? Seems to me that it'd be pretty easy to get. Wait a minute, what are we talking about?
The Fab in the video with the toilet paper rolls.
Oh, that's not at all what I was talking about. Forget what I said.
We know what you were thinking about.
Somebody got to stop this crazy guy. So what you guys want to talk about? It is Friday night and I'm relaxed. What do you want? What do you want from me? I'm walking in. Amy says, it's Friday. I'm tired. Me too. Me too. Been a long week. I'm glad it's over. I finished up a very large order just as I was leaving work today. Just right at the edge of the day, I finished. I hate it when that happens. I like to wind down about 30 minutes out and slowly get to the end of the day. Not today. Balls to the wall until the very end. So I have a question. Everybody has seen the Sydney Sweeney American Jeans commercial. What are your thoughts on the subject? Then I'll tell you mine. Fab Daddy says, only 2 good days of a boat owner. The day you buy it and the day you sell it. I agree wholeheartedly. Same thing with a Harley Davidson owner, by the way. April says, I haven't seen it. It's basically a young, hot girl wearing blue jeans, in the vein of the old Calvin Klein commercials. Remember the old Calvin Klein commercials with Brooke Shields? It's basically that. She says, I have good genes. That's the ad. And they're calling it Nazi propaganda and all kinds of stuff. Debbie says, that ad was in no way racist. I didn't think so either. Rich S., hello, my darlings. Hello, Rich. Nice to see you. Amanda?
Hi, Rich.
Patty says, that's right, Fab Daddy. Linda Davis says, I have to look it up. I haven't seen it either. We all go look up that ad. Just type in Sydney Sweeney Eagle Jeans. See what pops up.
American Eagle jeans.
American Eagle jeans. April says, yes, and hi, Rich. Good to see you, love. And Amanda says,
hi, Rich.
Linda says, hi, Rich. So they're calling it white supremacist dog whistle, Nazi propaganda, hateful, sexist, all kinds of things. Amy says, if everything is racist, nothing is racist. People just have nothing better to do than to find something to complain about. I agree, 100%. I personally think that Sydney Sweeney knows what she is. I've seen her do other things, like she showed her boobs on Saturday Night Live, big buxom. She knows what she is. She's an action star. She has a certain type of body. Men will pay to see that body. She's cashing in. Great. If I had that kind of body, I'd do the same thing. I don't see what the problem is. The left hates her because she's making money because she's attractive. That's the only thing I can see. She's not even said anything political that I know of. Debbie says the liberals are just virtue signaling again. I agree. How are you, Debbie? And April says, I agree, Amy. Amy says, it says jeans, not jeans. I roll. Oh, yeah, that's another. They were calling it eugenicist talk. I don't see how, but that's what they're saying. John says, in the 80s, the Levi advert in the laundromat stripping off the they tried banning that today. Oh, really? I think I've seen that commercial when they're in a laundromat. Debbie says the blue-haired liberals are jealous because they can't pull it off because American Eagle does not sell their size. I think you might be onto something, Debbie. I think you're right about that. And if you look at Sydney Sweeney, it's not hard at all to tell why so many people like her. She's just very attractive. She's the quintessential buxom blonde. Why not make those commercials? I mean, if I look like that, I would be making those commercials, I don't understand why people have a problem with that. All of a sudden, did they not remember the 80s? Remember when the 800 commercials came on TV late night? That was all but softcore porn right there. April says, LOL, Debbie. And Rich says, such BS. It's just a fashion company trying to boost sales like they always have. And oh, by the way, the company stock went up $400 million. Well, that's good. I'm glad that it did. And I hope that it keeps going up. And I hope that America votes with its wallet and tells these crazy people that there's nothing wrong with attractive people. That's what we want to see. I'm so tired of watching TV and seeing ugly, unattractive, unhealthy people shoved in my face. If I wanted real life, I wouldn't be watching TV. I don't know why this is hard to understand. It's like we went backwards. We're devolving mentally. And Debbie says, sex sells, period, full stop. I agree. And I don't know why it's all of a sudden a problem. April says, right. I agree with your assessment, Rich. I think that's exactly it in a nutshell. They always have done it this way. If you go back to the 80s and watch the Calvin Klein commercials, they're the exact same commercial. It's even worded the same way. It's even shot the same way. They haven't changed anything. Fab Daddy says, I can't wait to play lawn darts, wearing American Eagle jeans and drinking a Bud Light. Of course, with my toilet paper roll, titties, and pigtails. I hear you, buddy. You do you, boo, if that's what makes you happy. You being the liberal in the bunch, I figured you'd have something to say about this commercial. Sounds like you agree with us. Amanda says,
LOL Fab, now that would be a video.
Debbie says, I used to play lawn darts. I don't think that's what he's talking about, Debbie, but Fab Daddy says, I haven't seen the commercial. Well, look it up. It's like 30 seconds long. If that long. It's a real quick commercial. It just has Sydney Sweeney in a suggestive pose. She's wearing a jean jacket with no shirt on so you can see her cleavage and those jeans. And she's talking about having good jeans. That's the commercial. That's it. It's in a white background. There's absolutely nothing sexist or racist about it in any way, shape, or form. It is just a jeans commercial with a hot girl in it, like it's supposed to be. Amy says, it's like those body positivity influencers who weigh 300 pounds plus and then they pass away from comorbidities, nothing positive, not being able to breathe. Right. Nothing positive about that. And you're absolutely right about that, Amy. I've seen quite a few of those in the last 10 years who are now dead. And if you really want to know what drives these people, look at Lizzo, the pop star Lizzo, the rapper. She was a big girl. I mean, big girl. Big girl. But she decided to lose weight. She got tired of being sick. So she started losing weight, and she's now half the woman she was. Half. And they hate her for it. They have turned, all of her fans turned against her for taking care of herself. Think about that. Think about the state the world is in when you lose fans for doing good for yourself. They want you to be miserable like they are. They don't want you to succeed. Debbie says, I have spent major money in American Eagle. They have the best jeans, and Bud Light with tomato juice is one of my favorite drinks. Right on. I've never worn American Eagle jeans, but I'm thinking about buying a pair. What it is says, hit that like button. Thank you, What It Is. What's up, buddy? Nice to see you. Amanda says,
hi, What It Is.
We got a new voice on the show tonight. She doesn't say much, but she's there. April says, hi, What It Is. Good to see you, love. And John says, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Simple. Don't complain about the generation today dressing up in a fairy costume in the 40s. That's mad. Right on. Amy says, mukbang videos. Oh, yeah. I've seen a few of those, too. It's disgusting. April says, that's bullshit. I agree. What It Is says, hello, Amanda and Untethered Live. Nice to see you, buddy. Amy says, Adele lost a lot of weight, too. I think that's who you're talking about, not Lizzo. No, Lizzo. Adele did lose a bunch of weight, but Lizzo did also. Go pull up a picture of Lizzo now. She looks really good considering what she looked like a couple of years ago. Fab Daddy says, I can pass the president's physical fitness test. I would imagine so. It's for old men. I can pass the presidential physical fitness test. Amy says, hi, what it is. And Amanda says, Lizzo lost a lot of weight and her fans went mad. Yes, they did. You're supposed to say that.
You said it for me.
I know. Amy says, wow, it's great. They both did. I did not hear about Lizzo. Yep, she lost a lot of weight. And she's continuing on despite her fans turning on her in droves. And I support that. Before, she was embracing it because that's what her label was telling her to do. She was making a lot of money being that fat. But at some point, I'm guessing reality set on her big fat chest. And she realized she had to do something. And she did. And that's what the thing is. That's proof that you don't have to be that way. You can choose to be that way. That's fine if that's what you're into. Or if you have like a glandular problem or something, that's one thing. But you don't have to be that overweight. You can get out and get it done. You just have to want to. April says, Amy, smiley face. Adele looks great too, by the way. Amy says, Ozempic. Auto parts. No. Patty says, I like Adele. I like her first early stuff. I don't care what she turned into. I actually learned a couple of her early songs. Linda says, the presidential physical fitness is given to kids in school. It's not for old people. No. He's talking about the exam that they have to take. The fitness test to see if they're able to move. I don't think he's talking about the school. And if he is, I apologize. I've read that the wrong way. I think he's talking about the physical fitness test at the White House. Amy says, my best friend Amy was on Ozempic and she lost a lot of weight, but I worry about the side effects. She's having issues. I've heard there were some side effects. Pardon me. And Fab Daddy says, no, Jake, Linda is correct. Okay, well, I misread that. I apologize. I thought you were talking about the test that they take when they get their physical at the White House. Stress test and all that. Amy says, I am not my best friend. Her name is actually Amy. I got it. I understood it. But the side effects might be worth it if there's no other way to get those results. I don't know. I've heard several things about the side effects. Some of them were not so bad. Some of them were getting on up into bad. So I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it unless you had to, but it is an option. And Ladina says, hi, our Amy G. Nice. We have an Amy B and an Amy E. And y'all have an Amy G. John says, once you stop, the weight piles back on in weeks. Yeah. And that's the case for any type of weight loss. The problem is the body wants to stay where it's at. It does not like to change. So if you're 300 pounds, it wants to stay 300 pounds. And you got to get up above normal and stay there in order for the weight loss to start taking effect. You got to push above what's normal to get anything to happen. Once it starts happening, though, it'll happen quickly. But the problem is as soon as you stop, it'll come right back because the body does not want to change. Once you get where your goal is, say you wanted to lose 100 pounds. Once you get to that goal, that's when the work starts. Now you got to stay 100 pounds for about 6 months before your body will decide that's what it is, and it'll want to stay there. And that means no matter what you do, you'll go back to that weight. It's a difficult thing getting the body to bounce back, especially as you get older. It gets harder and harder, but it can be done. But you got to really commit to it. Fab Daddy says, I actually like that Trump is going to mandate our kids to get in shape. I like that too. It used to be that way when I was in school. We had gym class and we had to, meet a certain criteria, body weight and all that sort of stuff. They stopped doing all that during the Obama years, oddly enough. Amy says, I'll have to find the picture of me, Ladina and Amy. That'd be nice. Melody says, Ozempic is prohibited to sell in my country. A documentary was made about this Ozempic drug injection. It's very scary. Well, it ain't for the light-hearted, that's for sure. And it does come with issues. But if that's your only option, it may be necessary. It depends on what your situation is. I personally recommend walking, a lot of it. There is no mystery. The way to lose weight is to not eat. But you will not lose weight if you're not doing anything. You cannot eat, but you got a lot of weight there that's going to cover up the not eating. It'll just swallow it whole. So that's not going to do anything. You got to get up above normal and stay there in order for it to start working. And it takes a lot of effort. It's no joke. You can eat in one bite what you work all day to lose. I mean, you really have to plan it out and be militant about it to get it to work. Debbie says, eat more as in better negative calorie foods and move more. Right. No miracle weight loss potions work long term. Yeah, the word diet is a misnomer. That's how they sell things. Anytime you see something that says, heart healthy or diet or anything like that, that is selling you something. That's not going to work. It never will. And John says, do it naturally if you want it that bad. Get your fat butt off the couch and get motivated. Exactly. However, and I have to say this because as sure as I don't, somebody will pipe in and say something about it. There are people that can't get off the couch. There are conditions that will not allow you to do it. And in that case, Ozempic may be a necessity. That being said, the answer is work. You have to work. You have to work hard. And you have to have a goal in mind and work towards that goal until you reach it, period. There is no other way. And you're right, there are no miracle cures. April says, I think all pharmaceutical drugs are bad. I would agree with that to some degree. Fab Daddy says, American softies. It's not an ice cream. It's a result of overprocessed foods being eaten. American softies is not an ice cream. I got you. Yeah, we eat a lot. I mean, if you go back and look at in the 80s, they came out with the food pyramid. It was in all the schools and all the health books. Go look at that thing. I mean, really look at it. It's the exact opposite of what you should be doing. All the way. Every recommendation they gave was the exact opposite of what you should give, which is why we have an obesity epidemic today. There's no such thing as trans fats. There's no such thing as bad cholesterol. Cholesterol is a reaction that your body gives to plaques being in the blood. It actually cleans the plaque from the blood, but it has a nasty side effect, and that is a stroke or a heart attack. You have to prevent that. And you prevent that by what you put in your body. I'm not a health expert, and I'm not a doctor, but I'm smart, and I know a few things. And one thing I know for sure is that we've been poisoning ourselves for many, many, many years. Amy says, I'm back. I was listening. I moved my car from the parking garage to the parking lot. Nice. April says, welcome back, Amy love. And Rich says, the crazy thing is that these shots were designed for blood sugar and no coincidence. Sorry, my chat jumped right while I was reading that. Hang on. These shots, Ozempic, was designed for blood sugar, and no coincidence that people lose weight too. So doctors prescribe it for weight loss, and there is a shortage for actual diabetics. Well, there you go. Think about that for a minute. Diabetes is a result of eating a certain type of sugar, like high fructose corn syrup, things like that. And it causes your pancreas to go into overtime, and then it stops producing the way it's supposed to, and then you have a deficit of glucose in the blood or something to that effect, causing a reaction called diabetes. It can cause anything from brain fog to you losing your toes. And the medication for diabetes, as it were, happens to have a nasty side effect, and that is you lose weight. Interesting. So what you're telling me is that if you avoid all of that and just eat stuff that comes out of the ground naturally without pesticides and fake GMOs and things like that, HMOs, whatever you call it, GMOs, you might be healthier. Maybe. Maybe if you eat what you kill and eat what you grow and stay away from white things and artificially sugared things, you'll be okay. It could be. April says, it's hard, but you gotta want it. Yes, you do. Melody says, Ozempic is manufactured by Novo Nordisk, a Danish pharmaceutical company. And to be sure, it has a pharmaceutical end result. Debbie says, a great snack, celery filled with peanut butter. It takes more calories to digest it than it is in the peanut butter for protein. I was going to say, celery's like eating air. You're not getting anything out of it. But the peanut butter's good for you. What it is says, I cheated today and had chili verde pork with beans and rice and guacamole and pico de gallo. Pico de gallo. Okay. How's that cheating? Were you not supposed to have that? Amy says that sounds delicious. What it is, it does actually. I like pork. I like pork and beans. I can only imagine pork and beans and rice and guacamole and pico de gallo. Gallo, however you say it. April says young kids are having heartburn and puking up food now. Yeah, that's because we feed them garbage. That's because dads don't know how to hunt anymore, and moms don't know how to grow gardens anymore. Go back to the 60s, 50s, 40s, and 30s and look at pictures of people in those days, just people in public. And then go look at people in public today and see if you see a marked difference in the way they are. What it is it was delicious. Aaron, what's up, buddy?
Hello, Aaron.
Nice to see you, my friend. Come on in, take your shoes off. Amy says, your chat's going to jump.
9:28.
9:28. Amy says other countries look at Americans as lazy and obese, social media obsessed fools. It's the truth. It's sad. Yes, yes, and yes. Aaron says, I finished fixing the toilet. Rock on, buddy. I got to do that myself. what it is says, I think we all should start taking a big tablespoon of cod liver oil every day. Yeah. Couldn't hurt. Omega-3 fatty acids are good for you. Good for your joints anyway. April says, hi, Aaron. How are you? Aaron says, hey, April, good to see you. April says, that's a good thing, LOL. And April says, good idea what it is. Aaron says, sorry I'm late. I went to help the kids. Well, you do what you got to do, buddy. The kids are important. Family first, always. Ladina says, my fat asthmatic